So, have you ever looked at someone running a 100-mile race or jumping into a frozen lake and thought, why? What on earth are they doing? Well, it turns out they might have stumbled upon a neurochemical secret that most of us are completely missing. Just look at the numbers. From the mid-90s to 2008, participation in ultramarathons went up by over 1,600%. Yeah, you heard that right. That is not a typo. More and more people are choosing on purpose to push themselves to the very edge. And hey, it's not just about running forever. The number of people signing up for these brutal obstacle course races, the ones with mud and walls and barbed wire, that number jumped sevenfold in about the same amount of time. Even the market for ice baths, we're talking about voluntarily making yourself incredibly cold, is on track to be a $500 million industry by 2030. So this is definitely not some fringe thing anymore. Which brings us to this really big question. In a world that is basically designed for our comfort, where everything is about instant gratification, why are so many people running in the other direction? Why are they choosing effort and discomfort and even pain? Well, the answer comes down to one little molecule in your brain. And that molecule is dopamine. Now, you've probably heard it called the pleasure molecule, right? But that's not really the whole story. A much better way to think about it is as the molecule of motivation. It's the chemical that makes you get up and actually do things. It's totally fundamental to our survival. There was this incredible experiment that just nails this point. Scientists took rats and basically turned off their dopamine. Now, if they put food right in the rat's mouth, it would eat. But if they moved the food just one body length away, the rat would literally starve to death. Without dopamine, the motivation to even try, it's just gone. Okay, so here's the problem we're all facing. Our brains are basically running on ancient software. They evolved in a world of scarcity, a world where you had to work super hard for a tiny little reward. But we live in a world of total abundance, just flooded with easy, high-reward hits of dopamine everywhere you look. And that creates a massive, massive mismatch. To understand how our brain even deals with this, we need to talk about something called homeostasis. Just picture a balance scale, or a seesaw in your brain. On one side, you've got pleasure, and on the other, you've got pain. Your brain is constantly working to keep that scale perfectly level. It's a nonstop job. So what happens when we take the easy path? We scroll social media for an hour or eat a bunch of sugar. Well, we're basically slamming our thumb down on the pleasure side of the scale. And to bring things back to level, the brain sends out these little metaphorical gremlins to hop on the pain side. The problem is, they always overshoot, which gives you that awful after effect. The come down, the craving, the hangover. And the long-term cost of this is, well, you can see it right here. If you keep chasing that easy dopamine, your brain starts to protect itself by getting rid of its own dopamine receptors. These brain scans show exactly that. The brains on the right are in what's called a chronic dopamine deficit. It just takes more and more just to feel okay. But, and this is the absolute key, there is another way to work the system. This is what the ultramarathoners have figured out. If you intentionally press down on the pain side of the scale with a hard workout or a cold plunge, your brain's gremlins have to jump on the pleasure side to bring things back into balance. And the result is this delayed but much more powerful and sustained rise in dopamine. And the best part? No crash. So let's go back to where we started. These people running through the mountains and jumping in ice baths. They're not masochists. They don't love pain. They are, whether they know it or not, neurohackers. They figured out a smarter, more sustainable way to get their dopamine. So here's the bottom line. We all have a choice. We can get our dopamine directly by chasing pleasure, which almost always ends with us feeling worse, or we can get it indirectly by paying for it upfront with a bit of effort and discomfort. It's just a much healthier way to live in this modern world. This whole idea of a pleasure-pain balance is a really, really useful way to think about why we do what we do. But is it really that simple? Do a few little gremlins on a scale really capture the incredible complexity of what's going on in our brains? Well, tomorrow, we're going to dig into the hard science. I'm going to show you what is actually happening chemically inside your brain when you exercise. And I promise you, the reality is way more surprising than you think. I'll see you then.